Hi, I'm Francois from Adventure Bike Troop. In this video, I want to chat about why I think a BMW GS or a KTM Super Adventure is the wrong bike for a crossing Africa adventure bike trip. Now sure, they are awesome bikes, they are really brilliant and they are made for intercontinental travel or round the world trips, and many people do it. They are fast, they're powerful, they're big and comfortable, they can take a lot of luggage. Um, what can go wrong? Now, I know of friends of mine who sold their big bikes because of struggling in the sand or struggling to pick it up on their own if they fall over. These bikes are super heavy, and on a big adventure bike trip, you are going to drop the bike. And if you are tired, you're in a foreign country, you don't want to be struggling with big heavy bikes. They are super expensive. You can pay upwards of $25,000 for a fully kitted BMW GS. And it's not only expensive to buy, if you have to ship it, it's bigger, it's heavier, you have to pay temporary import tax based on the value. So it is just more expensive overall. The insurance is more expensive. If you need parts, again, it's expensive. You need to courier it. If you are on a 3-month trip somewhere in the far corners of the earth, it can be tricky to find spare parts. You need the right oil. They are more sensitive for dirty fuel, the sensors, etc. So the easiest way, I think, to cross Africa is on a cheap Chinese delivery bike. Now, I know because I've done this. My wife and I took 2 Chinese 200cc delivery road bikes, and we rode from Cape Town in South Africa 9,600 miles all the way to Cairo in Egypt. It took us 3 months or exactly 90 days, and we didn't have any problems. We had 3 flat tires and a dirty carburetor in Western Tanzania. Now you can check out my post at adventurebiketroop.com/smallbikes for the whole post. But in this video, I just want to chat about 5 benefits of traveling on a small motorcycle if you want to cross Africa. So the first benefit of traveling on a small bike is that it's super easy to fix. They are very basic. They have a small little carburetor. There's no electronics. Many have kickstart, so if your battery is flat, the bikes are just simpler. Less can go wrong, and if it does go wrong, anyone can fix it. If you can't fix it yourself, you can get a local and they can help you. Now on these Chinese bikes, something we didn't know beforehand, but all across Africa, the locals ride the exact same bikes, and this is the same in all developing countries. These Chinese bikes are everywhere, so it's easy to get parts. I, for instance, damaged the float in my carburetor because I was just incompetent when I cleaned it out, and in Western Tanzania, without speaking any English, the local guy just pointed at the carburetor, he ripped it off, came back with a carb kit for the same bike, put it in. Less than $5 later, I was on my way again, and it lasted all the way to Egypt. I also bought a spare chain that was in Sudan. Ethiopia, I bought spare tubes. I also bought those adjusting nuts. They rattled out in the desert, so I just bought new ones for the exact same bike. So it's just much less of a hassle. Benefit number 2 of a small bike in Africa is that they are light. So if you fall over, or if the bike falls over, which is bound to happen, you can just grab the handlebars, pull it upright, and off you go. And if you have to put it on the back of a truck because the road is too tough to go, like in Namibia, we had to ride a 2-mile sand stretch. I could manage, but my wife had a bit of a struggle, so we just put it on the back of a pickup truck, and it was no issue. 2 people on the back of the truck, and there you go. Benefit number 3 of a small motorcycle in Africa is they can run on anything. Dirty fuel, no problem. You just clean out the carburetor and off you go. There's no sensors or computers that can bomb out and leave you stranded. Oil as well. You can take any old motor oil as long as you change it regularly. Whereas new bikes, you need the right type of synthetic, whatever oil. It's just easier on an old basic bike. Benefit number 4 is they are slow. Now this might seem like a big disadvantage, but in many third world countries there are a lot more people. There's village upon village, and there's animals, livestock, kids in the roads, so you don't want to go too fast. Also at police checkpoints, you don't want to speed because there's just a bigger risk of getting caught and held up, and it's just a lot of hassles if you speed. And I know how it goes. You are long day in the saddle, you're bored, you just want to get to the final destination. It took longer than you thought, and now you're gunning it. And with a small bike, you can just have full speed, and it's still only 50 or 60 miles per hour. My wife nearly hit a goat in Ethiopia, which would have been a big problem. But luckily on a small bike, it was quick to react, and we didn't have any issues. In many small villages in Africa, also the speed limit is only 20 miles per hour, like 30 kilometers per hour. So on a big bike, it's just so much easier to accidentally speed, which is not great. And the last benefit number 5 of small bike is people just like you more. If you have a big $20,000, $25,000 adventure bike, you're going to stand out in Africa. Now, on a small bike, you're riding the same bikes as the locals. People wonder where you're from, what is this bike? They just ask us, how fast can it go? And we didn't have any issues. I know of people who had first-hand experience of being bribed all the way through Africa at checkpoints. Police asking for stuff, asking for money. But on these bikes, I promise you, I was asked once. We were stopped many times, but only once did a policeman ask me for my third-party insurance documents. I told him it's my backpack, does he want to see it? And he just said, no, it's fine, you can go. So that was the only question I had, but I had no issues at all. People were just friendly everywhere. We even met Charlie Boerman from Long Way Down in Namibia, of all places, and we were doing a similar trip to their Long Way Down. We're just going up. And he looked at the small bikes and he said, no, you wouldn't have a problem going through Africa. And so wherever we went, people were just interested in it. So that's my 5 reasons of why I think the best bike for Africa is a small little bike. It doesn't have to be a Chinese delivery bike. If you have 4 times the money, like $5,000, $6,000, you can go for a Yamaha XT250 or a Honda XR250L. It's probably a bit better Japanese, I don't know. I still think the Chinese bikes in Africa is perfect because of all the parts availability, the same bike. You can even get an engine or a gearbox, just stick it in there and there you go again. Not that you're going to need it. So that's it. If you want to check out the full post, go to adventurebiketroop.com/small-bikes. The link is in the description as well. Thank you for joining us and get out there. There's no excuses. Get a small bike and go travel through Africa. Cheers.